finishing options that are currently available will be offered with that model. It is a perfect complement to the Charis Pro, where you will have improved productivity with heavy stocks for commercial printers, for implants that are doing large volumes, or even with traditional commercial printers that wants to enter the digital environment. We have a much better color stability with the family, and we have improved the support of heavy stock. So what does it look like? Well, the product is really the same base engine. So it's based on a Charis Pro engine. However, it has some de-features capability, and we will see that into a bit more detail. You will have access to a standard booklet finisher. You will have access to the A3 or A4 large capacity tray, but not the large capacity tray. And you will keep the 10-inch operation panel. So a configuration extremely compact, very productive. It's available only in one speed. So this is going to be the 65 page per minute configuration. So you see here the overall positioning that we've had through the 5300 series. So we are really willing to enter and be more aggressive in the entry power office and the light low configuration. And you've seen the new Pro C5310 and 5300S has already enabled us to win deals in the market. So we are really well positioned against all traditional competitors. What are the specifications? And I'm not going to read all that into detail because I think it's something that you will get and will have the ability to go through. This is really to make the differentiations between the Charis, so the Charis Pro, the Charis Lite, and the Charis Office. So the Pro version is really the one that offers them all the features and all the capabilities. You see that some of these features are not enabled on the Lite, and the Lite version is somewhere in between the Pro 5300 series and the Office versions. See, if you look at the paper productivity or the productivity on thick paper, for example, the Charis Lite will be somewhere in between. On the paper handling capabilities, you see that the vacuum feed LCIT is only eligible for the Charis 3 Pro version, so the Pro C5300S and the Pro C5310S. The EFI controller, there is none in the Office version. It's fully available for the Pro versions, but for the Charis Lite, this is really recommended that you are pushing customers who require EFI capabilities to the Pro versions, because it will also require additional features such as thicker paper, better productivity, and more finishing capabilities. So it's really important that you understand fully the differences between all the three versions of this same technical engine. So the vacuum, you see all the paper feeds, there are some limitations and some are not available at all, and some are just available as option. So no need to go further into any detail there. That will be fully released to you after this session, so you can compare, engage with your customers. Configurations, as you can see, a much lighter configuration will be available to all your customers. The configurator will be released shortly, but be aware of the functions or tray are available, multi-bypass banner tray available, multi-bypass banner sheet available. However, in terms of output, Copy tray, no problem. Standard finishing, no problem. Trimmer unit, yes, this is also available for the booklet finisher, but everything else is excluded. Very important, once you have made a selection on one configuration, you cannot upgrade to any other. So make sure that you fully assess your customer requirements in terms of finishing capabilities as well as feeding capabilities, because once it's decided, it cannot be changed. Sales and promotional materials, they are not yet fully released, and they will be released very shortly. As part of the materials, we will have obviously a sales brochure, we will have an updated customer presentation, we will see an update on the website very shortly that has not been completed yet. We will have a new handbook, and I really have requested that the sales handbook that is updated is including all the typos and mistakes that were present in the previous version. There were some unclarity on some features, so that should be resolved, but I've not seen it yet, where I am waiting for the video, a specific video for that configuration, as well as the sales handbook and customer facing presentation. There is no specific requirement to have a showroom configuration. However, if you want to invest, this is fully available, but there is no special program on showroom for that. Neither there will be print samples available, because our goal is to push on the higher end in the configuration. And I really hope that the print samples have reached you for those who have requested that. An important statement is that the Pro C5300S and Pro C5310S are BTO configuration, so they must be assembled in UK. This is not the case for the Pro C5300SL, which also means that you have and you can benefit from much faster shipment and delivery for these units. So they are exactly as the same than the 8300 series. There will be an online update training course made available in my RICOH, and it's also recommended that all your service and technical staff are completed that update. The date has it's not been released, but it's going to be minor changes to the configuration. Operation and kits, so OI kits are available in 3 groups. And if your language is not specified in the 2 groups that are fully published in the EDP code list, it means that they are standard. So this is the case, for example, English and French are available as a standard kit. So all options are available. All the current options made available on the Pro C5300SL is fully compatible with the Pro C5300 series. However, and I really insist, it's a limited list of options available. There is a great news to all of you. Supplies are exactly the same. Parts are exactly the same, which means that the CPP is also the same. And we have a very aggressive CPP on the Pro C5300 series. In terms of pricing, for all partners who are eligible to sell Pro C5300 series, you should see already the Pro C5300SL in your partner portal. If this is not the case, please reach out to your RICOH International Business Manager, and we will address that internally. Well, the introduction of the Pro C5300SL has a direct impact on the Pro C7200SL. Well, we still have a number of configurations, so it's not just happening right now. We've got first, it's going to be planned at the same time as we phase out the EFI controller for the Pro C5300 SL. We were having 13 units in inventory as of last Monday, and the expected phase out is scheduled sometime end of October, early November, as usual, depending on the order level from all the OPCOs reporting to RICOH Europe. The end of service is not communicated. Obviously, the minimum is at least 7 years from the phase out, but it might be more as it's also related to the Pro C7200 or 7200 overall series. So that is not communicated. So if you have current offers in place, I really strongly urge you to either accelerate the conversation with your customers to close those orders as soon as possible so that you can really make the installations on time. But I would also advise you that you may revisit your current offers if the sales cycle is not so advanced, to convert it to a Pro C7200 series closest configuration. But any new proposal, you will have to choose between the Pro C5300 series or the Pro C72 series. And here I also include the Pro C5300 Lite configuration. So if you have some concern about any pending discussions or offers with your customers, please reach out to your business manager, and we will make sure that we provide you the right answer. Now, maybe before I switch to the Pro C92 series, maybe it's time to open some questions for the Pro C5300 SL. I see no remarks, no question in the chat box. So, but if you feel that you have questions, just feel free to type your question into the meeting chat. Let's then move to the Pro C92 series. Well, Pro C92 series, this is really something important because we are having a very strong evolution of our portfolio. The ACD. So what is ACD? The ACD is the auto color diagnosis. It's a RICOH unique technology which reduces color fluctuations in real time by detecting color fluctuations directly from the scanned images of the actual prints and comparing them with the RIP image. Well, the reality of this configuration is that this is really a new option, and this is mentioned internally as Andromeda P2.5 Phase 2. It includes two major features, which is the auto color diagnosis, which is really stabilizing the color fluctuation during printing, and the image quality monitor, which is a new function which is fully added to the ACD unit type A. The impact of this addition to our portfolio is that it requires an EDP code change on the entrance and exit unit. However, we are not changing the commercial name of the overall family, so it remains known as the Pro C9200 series. And the market segmentation for the overall engines is not changing either. So we are mainly targeting commercial printers and print for pay organization. The ACD comes as an option that is really meant to compete against the Konica Minolta in particular. This is really helping us to compete against the KM-IQ501 option, and the price of the option is really set as a direct face-off to it. So let me maybe explain a little bit more about what it brings to you. Well, let's see the image quality monitor. So it is really part of the ACD, and it really detects streaks or spots on printed media as they are comparing for every single page the RIP data with the scanned image that is being printed. If the result is okay, then the page is really sent to the output devices. If it's not good, then there are different levels on what you can do with that defect. First, it will send an alert on the operator panel. The outcome of the test or the comparison will be logged in a file and saved so that it can be checked afterwards, and every single page will be tested this way. So what does that mean effectively for your customer and your commercial printer? This is basically before, well, we were having a commercial printer who was printing all pages, and they were doing a random check, eventually manual, every 30 minutes, and with the risk that they would miss some of the failed quality printed materials. With the new comparison, then you print with 100% inspection of every pages. Then you also still can perform an image check manually, but then the overall time requested for that will be much less. And then you are also reducing the risk of shipping defect images to your end customers. So you are having two direct effects. First, you are minimizing the risk of shipping wrong documents, and you will be saving time to your operators. Also, because we are enabling different level into the possibilities of the test, then you will be presenting better quality or more accurate or stable inspection quality, because the commercial printer can define certain criteria and the detection level can be changed. So you will have a higher satisfaction overall, both for your end customer, the print buyer, and for your operators, because they do not have this boring task of verifying every single job. The outcome of the beta test that we're conducting mostly in Germany, and you know, German can be very demanding in terms of quality. They keep claiming they invented the commercial printing, so they are really looking at very detailed and fine details, and they have been really positive, very positive on the outcome of the operation of the ACD and the IQM. So this is something very interesting that we are seeing. So we are not recommending to set the inspection level at the highest level, because you would see less productivity overall on your machine. And also this is probably not representing the real acceptance from the market. Also, because you are able to completely monitor your defect image, you can really, for every single job, find out the defect ratio that is being happening. You can really also compensate with extra sheets, which most of commercial printers are already doing. Before, they were always printing an extra print backup for customers, so that to avoid some complaints if they were having a missed quality. Then you can really completely reduce the number of extra prints for backup for your end customers, meaning that you will be reducing costs because you are no longer printing too many, and also it's saving on the resources. Well, as a commercial printer, or for you as a RICOH distributor, this is also meant to increase the reputation of the brand, because you can really fully automate 100% of the inspections. So all your customers will have a better sense of confidence and security, and contributing to higher corporate value. And also you can drive new business by promoting higher quality automation business. So how do you address your customers? Because not all of them are yet into the process of doing a full inspection. So it's really depending on how they operate and how they behave. And you have typically 3 profiles that you can really address with the new features. If your customers is really do a manual inspection today because they are they want to eliminate the risk of missing quality, then they are a high workload, high manpower cost, because they really need to check every single page, or it's almost impossible to check every single page. So there is still a high risk of not good quality level when the required quality is very high, or depending on the customer expectation. With the IQM inspection, the quality is much more stable, as the detection is really performed based on certain conditions automatically, and this is really the commercial printer that sets the level. So it will also contribute to reduce the manual check and save time and save costs from the operation point of view. If they are not having an inspection process today, but they think they should have one because they want to increase their reputation, or they want to also deliver better jobs, well, it's very difficult for them to start that as a manual process because of all the extra labor cost that it would imply, or the time required, because your customers are still insisting to have very short delivery times. Then each job can be checked online as they are printed, so all pages can be inspected during the printing without increasing additional labor cost and without changing the delivery dates. And as an extra benefit for your customer, it will be able to really monitor the quality and the level of defects that are being printed. So for them, the outcome is less risk with keeping delivery time, and also reducing extra print costs because they can reduce the quantity of backup materials. If your customer is not interested in inspection process and they feel they don't need it, maybe it's time for them to reconsider becoming a value-added printer and provide some extra value to their end customers. So it's also the ability to offer some security and added value, and they can contribute better to the quality of their end customers. So as it was announced on social media in August, so it's available as of now for the new engine, and I know some of you have been suffering in trying to place orders, and I really hope this is sorted out today. We are very dependent on the EDP codes availability, and we've been pushing this as soon as they were released to us. The engines and the entire Pro C92 series remains under BTO configuration. Be aware that the ACD will only be available in Q3. We will have sample units, and I will come to that in a minute to explain how to use that. Sales materials are in preparation. Also, we will have a specific brochure that is dedicated to the ACD option. and we will have updates on the sales handbook as well as update on the website. It's important that the technical training is completed for all your teams, because the behavior of this feature needs to be fully explained in depth to the operators so that they are setting the right level of settings. No change in terms of UI kits, no change in options or supplies. All the parts are common. There is only new items to be added for the ACD part. Pricing, this should be in progress. This is so all the exit engine or entry units are not changed in terms of pricing, so no impact to you. It's just the addition of a new feature that is available as an option. Well, and one of the reasons we were not able to communicate earlier was really that the COVID-19 has delayed all the training capabilities. We are still pushing to have training and upskill personnel capabilities to be online when possible. It is not always possible. So this is something that is a constantly work in progress for us. And the ACD options will be launched as soon as it is possible. And this is really directly depending on the ACD options. As you understand, the ACD is a physical option that needs to fit into an engine. So existing engines do not support the ACD option. So any customer that will need or want to have the ACD options needs to acquire the new main engines that are referred as Andromeda 2.5 phase 2. And this means a phase out of the previous EDP codes that we used to have, and it's only affecting those entrance and exit units. Here are the corresponding table for the new codes. So that will be shared to all of you after this session. So the presentation will be shared, will be loaded. The recording is, I probably missed the recording on that one because it stopped when I started the... Yeah, okay, so let me retrieve the recordings. I might have to record it a second time for other colleagues. Okay, let's talk about the sample kit. The sample kit is a kit that is not meant as a giveaway to customers. It's only for you only to use to explain the behavior of the feature. So each sample, and we will see 8 different samples, will come with 3 different sheets explaining the different level of the detection that you can reach. So I have requested a number sample. I've not yet received confirmation of the number of samples I will be allocated, but I've stressed the specific requirement of our regions being in so many different countries. It's important that each of you who are selling the Pro C92 series can get at least 1 or 2 set of samples. But once you have them, make sure that you're not giving them away to your end customers. Before I move to the EFI option change, maybe we can go through some of the questions on the 9200 series and the ACD.
Good afternoon, Rahul this side.
Yes.
Just wanted to know from you. As far as I know, the old units are having ACD, and I have a unit in my demo where ACD is working. It is not an option. So now you are in the new units, it becomes an option. But it is working here in our demo machine. Yes, there were problems in some of the units, but in some units it's working. There were some upgrades which came, and they're working. So now it will come without ACD.
Yes, that's correct, because the reality is that most of the units that were installed in the field, I would say that more than 90% of the installed unit with the ACD preliminary versions were not activated into the field, meaning that there are very few customers that would be that would spot a difference between this previous configuration and the new configuration. But also one of the reasons that where RICOH Europe and RICOH Japan want to have the ACD as a chargeable option is that it is really to position against Konica Minolta. Pricing may not be fully released yet. I know that the first quarter will be having a very strong promotion associated with the ACD. I've not received those data, but as soon as we have them, we will make sure that you can really understand the value and the benefit of selling the ACD as an extra revenue stream.
Okay. Now, when we don't have, I mean, will there be any pricing difference with now the machines would not be coming with ACD, and there were machines which came with ACD. So will there be any pricing drop on the engines, or it would remain the same?
No, they will remain the same.
But here it is not an option, it is an option.
I understand. I understand what you say. However, because of the poor behavior of previous unit, and we are probably one of the very lucky ones having one functionings, most of the units were not performing as expected by customers and were generating more service code than required. So this was really a decision driven by support and product design to remove the ACD but not change the pricing.
Okay.
Any more question? No more question? Then I will move to the EFI. Option changes. This is also a change that has been enforced to us by EFI. As you may know, all the make-ready options, which are EFI Impose, Compose, Job Master, used to have the Adobe Acrobat and Focus Pit Stop plugin embedded. And I see a typo in my presentation. The decision is back to March 2020. We were having enough in inventory to cover a number of orders, but from now and there are still some available, but I think most of them now are out of inventory. We need to have a new EDP code for all the EFI make-ready solutions. And there is a creation of a new item for the new options as Adobe Acrobat and Focus Pit Stop. This is mostly related to licensing from Adobe and Focus Pit Stop. And there is a second big change that has been taking place in the market, which is a transition to term license. And this is not something that we can see stopping. And some of you might have seen those. Let me get back to the term license. Term licensing versus perpetual licensing. The term licensing is really a subscription based, which is applicable for either cloud or self-hosted solutions. It means that the license will cover a certain period of time, and you will have term licensing for 1, 3, 4, 5 years. But at the end of that period, the software will stop working. And this is really something that is very important that your customer understand, that if they do not renew the term license at the expiration date, their software will stop working. And the main reason is that the term license covers both the software license and the software payment, software maintenance, either in an annual payment or in multi-year payments. When the perpetual license was just a license to use the features and functionalities, it's not a transfer of ownership. It's just a right to use the features, but the customer should subscribe the maintenance package to have access to support and get updates for latest versions. And updates are not automatic, and they are chargeable if customer is not under a valid maintenance contract. Is the main reason for the transition to perpetual license to term licensing is also because many customers were just choosing to have only 1 year maintenance, and that all this software provider were missing the recurring revenue associated to it. So basically, if you have a perpetual license, which we do not see the title, okay, sorry. This is really typically the first year you pay the cost for the license plus the maintenance, which is typically 30% of the overall for 3 years. Then after the third year, then your software would remain active, but customer would not have access to any of the new versions, nor would he have access to any support. When you are under term license, well, you will benefit from the latest version every time, whether you are cloud or self-hosted. But when it expires, well, your customer will not automatically benefit of the next version, nor will be able to use the features or functionality. So it's very important if they renew and they get an active term license for the 4th year, and they will automatically benefit from the latest version. I know this is quite another tricky thing that is important to explain, as we see more and more software into that mode of presentation. So let me go back to one slide that I missed, which is on EFI. There are a few more tools and resources available. You might have missed it, so I really engage all of you to register to the EFI sales portal to make sure that you apply to get access for more sales tools. You have the RICOH controller product presentation with more detail content for the Pro C5300 series. And if you did not the ability to attend the dedicated seminars done by EFI in the US, you will get into that presentation the links to those recorded sessions. So let me move back to the end. Okay, other topics. Before I move on, any question? This is very quiet, so I guess no question. Other, I know it's quite a very busy month. We've been super busy all the months of September, and we have more content coming up into October. There are a number of sessions that are of interest for you. The one that I really want to mention is the RICOH Business Booster that will take place on October 7. This is really an important part of the business development that you can provide to your customers, but that you can also benefit directly from our tools. It's a tool that is going to be free of charge. So we will go through all the details on how you can use these resources. I've already released the materials and the information related to the Plotmatic RCT 3500, sorry. Honestly, there is so much content to share that I choose to delay a little bit the presentation for this. If you have a specific requirement, we can already address that. So this is a new large capacity tray with extended format for banner printing. We have a number of Expand Your Horizon webinars that have been completed in English already. And we will start a series of French sessions as of next Monday until September 24. And this will also be recorded. There are more EFI sessions coming up very shortly. It's all about color management. It's all about color processes and techniques. So this also might be of interest for you and your end customers. We are planning additional materials for the virtual demo in tools in industrial printing. And there are new trainings that will become mandatory, especially on inkjet fundamentals, that we really encourage all of you to go through on the RICOH, on my RICOH. Last but not least, I do not have all dates, but we are waiting for your input to run the NCRACU live events. Obviously, the version of the NCRACU live event that you've seen was not considering the Pro C5300, but this can be included in any future version. So in order to organize this, please make sure you coordinate with your RICOH business manager. And what information is required from you, a list of customers that you want to target, and we will be preparing a date together. We will be running the session together. We can adjust the agenda to meet it together. You will own your list of prospects. There is no information that will stay with us. It's only for you. So my wish is that we can run sessions with 10, 15, 20 participants from each of you. That would be the ideal situation. Okay, all the changes all published on the marketing portal, and I know how challenging it can be to keep track of all the information published on the marketing portal. So I just want to mention the very latest one. We've just announced the Pro C9200 ACD options. We've just announced the phase out of the Pro C72SL, and we've just confirmed the introduction of the Pro C5300 SL. If you've not seen it, we've got a number of EDP code change for SD cards. This is really linked not to change in features or functionalities, but in the way we are producing. So those SD cards are not produced in backup zone directly, which is saving time and making them or shortening the time to delivery. And this is applicable to cut sheet production, but as well to some of the inkjet solutions. I believe this is most that all I needed to cover. Let me check again. Yes, I'm really at the end of the session. I was planning for more time, just in case. So please let me know if you have additional questions related to this introduction. Or Dennis, if you want to make a comment.